Our democratic rights have been trampled all over by a communist, tyrannical government who do not care about freedom.
Keir Starmer finally responds after Robinson's comments. You're not going to believe this. For weeks, questions have been circling. Headlines, whispers, endless speculation. People asking, is Keir Starmer going to respond, or will he stay silent? Well, now we have the answer. And let me tell you, the way he broke his silence is raising even more questions than before. This isn't just about one man's words. It's about the bigger picture leadership, accountability, and the kind of debate Britain finds itself in right now. And when Starmer finally decided to speak up, it wasn't the kind of answer many were expecting. Here's what happened. It all started when Tommy Robinson made a set of remarks that went viral, statements aimed directly at the Labour leader, forcing him into the spotlight. 4 days, there was no official comment. Starmer's camp was silent, and that silence only fueled speculation. Commentators on both sides filled the gap, some saying he was avoiding confrontation, others suggesting he was carefully preparing his words. But then just this week Starmer broke that silence. Speaking in a carefully worded statement, he addressed the controversy without ever naming Robinson directly. Instead, Starmer framed it as a broader question about politics, leadership, and what he called the dangers of distraction. He said, "We cannot allow ourselves to be dragged into a politics of noise and division. Britain faces serious challenges from the cost of living to global security. My focus is on real solutions, not manufactured outrage." Now, let's pause there, because those words tell us a lot. On one hand, it's a classic Starmer move, measured, restrained, refusing to get pulled into a head-to-head with Robinson. But on the other hand, it leaves many people wondering, is this leadership or is it avoidance? Reactions came quickly. One Conservative MP wasted no time telling a political reporter, if Starmer can't even address criticism directly, how is he going to handle negotiations with world leaders? Meanwhile, some Labour insiders quietly admitted they were frustrated. One source, speaking anonymously, said, "The public wants strength, not caution. Sometimes you have to call things out head-on." And then there's the public. Social media lit up. One tweet read, "Starmer's silence spoke louder than his words. Too little, too late." Another countered, "He's right not to take the bait. Britain needs serious leadership, not playground arguments." It's clear the country is divided not just on Robinson's comments, but on Starmer's entire approach. Let's zoom out for a moment. Because this isn't really just about one exchange. This is about a political style, a way of leading that defines Keir Starmer. He has built his image as the steady hand. Calm, cautious, unwilling to lash out. In some ways, that's refreshing. In an era of soundbites and outbursts, restraint can look like maturity. But it also risks looking weak. And in politics, perception is everything. Think about it, voters don't just listen to words. They read tone, body language, even silence. And when you have figures like Robinson making bold, fiery claims, sometimes silence feels like surrender. So the question is, did Starmer just rise above the noise, or did he let his critics set the agenda? Here's where things get even more interesting. By choosing not to engage directly with Robinson, Starmer may have actually handed him more oxygen. Robinson thrives on being portrayed as the outsider challenging the establishment. And when the establishment represented by Starmer refuses to name him, it can reinforce that narrative. At the same time, Starmer's defenders argue that Britain has bigger issues on its plate. The economy, housing, healthcare. Why waste time fueling a culture war headline when the country is facing real struggles? It's a strategic gamble. And whether it pays off depends entirely on how the public interprets his silence. So, what does this all mean? It means Britain is at a crossroads. It means leadership today is about more than policy, it's about communication, tone, and the battle for narrative control. Starmer has chosen his path: calm over conflict, silence over shouting. But politics isn't played in silence. It's played in perception. And the real test is still to come. Because if this is how he responds to Robinson's words, what happens when the pressure is 10 times greater? What happens when international crises demand not just calm, but visible strength? That's the unanswered question hanging over this moment. And the truth is this is just the beginning. So now I put the question to you. Did Keir Starmer show real leadership by refusing to be dragged into the noise? Or did he miss the chance to stand strong in the face of challenge? Because what happens next may be the real scandal. And if this is just the start, how much deeper does it go?